Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It is your girl Meganakuax back with another video. In today's, why can't I speak? A lot of saliva happening here. In today's video, I'll be talking to you about one of my favorite subjects. It's not Jesus, it's next to that, houseplants. I absolutely love houseplants. I think they're really amazing, not only for decoration, I think they're really amazing if you want something to kind of take care of in your busy schedule and but it's like not a pet. I also think they're really good for self-care and they're really good for your mental health. So I decided to make a video about houseplants because I see a lot of on Instagram people going like, oh, what's an easy houseplant to get, or how do I take care of this plant, or my plant is dying. I just wanted to make this video to share some tips and tricks and yeah, some to-dos and not to-dos based on my experience with my plants. So I hope you enjoy this. Like every other video before we start, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Please make sure to like the video. And once the video is done, share this with your friends. Share it with a friend who might be thinking of buying a houseplant, or just share it because it might prompt someone to buy a houseplant. The first thing is for the people who are thinking of buying houseplants and who do not yet have houseplants. The first thing I would say to you is not to look for, oh, what's the hardest houseplant to kill, but also consider these things. What kind of space do you have? So my houseplants, there are 9 of them, but they're all in my bedroom because my mum hates houseplants, so she doesn't want them in other areas of the house, and compromise, I get to have them in my room. But I had to think about what kind of space do I have and like what kind of lighting situation do I have. So I've got next to me here, I've got a really big window and it gets a lot of sun. It gets that sunrise and it gets a lot of sun throughout the day, and it's like all the sun. Look, I know you watch videos and people like north facing window, south facing window. I don't know that stuff. I'm still like, I wouldn't say I'm a beginner, but I wouldn't say I'm like elite houseplant mum like that yet, but houseplant parent or whatever, but So anyways, I've got this huge window that shines heaps of light into my room. So, but then again, there are some areas of my room that are really low light and don't get a lot of light. So one thing that I knew is that I'm not going to get a plant that needs bright direct sunlight, but a plant that needs bright indirect sunlight, because my room does get a lot of bright indirect sunlight. The next thing I would say is once you figure out a plant that's good for your space and you've decided to get it, research the plant. And you know what? With houseplants, it's so easy because research on the plant can be done after you bought the plant. And I say this, when you are looking at what type of space you have and what type of light requirements you have, I would firstly recommend, if you're buying your first houseplant, to not buy a plant online and go to the shop and buy the plant. I say this because you can talk to the people at the plant nursery. Usually people who work at like plant stores, whether you're going to Flower Power, whether you're going to some indie plant store, or even if you're just going to Bunnings, they know a lot about plants. You can tell them what type of space you have, where you live, and they will be able to tell you, oh, this is a good plant, this is not a good plant, whatever. So they can kind of help you choose a plant. Now, the research you can do after you get the plant is things like, how often do I need to water the plant? How often do I need to feed the plant? What can I do to keep pests away from this plant? What can I do to keep the leaves and the foliage looking good, looking healthy on this plant? And Google is your best friend. There's so many devoted websites and things that are really willing and ready to tell you everything you need to know about a plant. I found a whole website just about peace lilies when I first got my peace lily, and then watching YouTube videos as well really helped, because I came to know with my peace lily, when it's thirsty, it's drooping, and that doesn't mean it's dying, it's just drooping because it's telling me I'm stressed out and I want water, and once I water it stands up again. That's just an easy plant. Not all my other plants do that. There are other things we have to do to kind of learn, but it's all about Google. Like, I see a lot of people ask questions about houseplants when I scroll through different things and websites and stuff, and it's just like, yes, we have these questions, but Google is the answer. It can tell you so much about your houseplant, and the solution is not always to water your plant. That most of the time is the last solution. In saying that, you have to remember as well, if you're getting numerous plants at one, all plants are different. So, for example, I water her every time she gets droopy. In the summer months, that's like, what? I want to say every 2 weeks, but she doesn't really make it the whole 2 weeks. That's a little piece lily taken. It was propagated from my larger one, but it will get droopy. But this plant, my devil's ivy, she don't care. She can go a while without, well, my one personally can go a while, like up to maybe 3 weeks without having water, and she'd be still shooting out those leaves. Just because I'm watering this plant on a certain schedule doesn't mean I need to be watering all of my plants on that schedule because all plants are different. One plant could require a lot of water, and then you could be overwatering the other plant because you're trying to have them on the same schedule. A tip I would give for that is I have a calendar, and on my calendar I will write the day that I watered my peace lily. And I know now, after having her for a while, every time she got droopy, I would water her why can't I speak? I would water her, and it would basically show me that she kind of needs watering every 2 weeks, and in the winter it changes. So I know that. And with my other plants, what I do is I just take my finger and I stick my finger in the soil. I stick it about up to like this part of my finger. If I don't know how to explain it. If this part of my finger is like moderately like dry and the soil is dry, like I come out and it's like dry soil, or sometimes you can even see and feel it's dry, I'll water my plant. If I stick my finger in and it comes out and it's really like a lot of dirt stuck to my finger, and the dirt doesn't look like a grayish dried out color, but it's more like real browny, like, you know, muddy color, then I know that my plant does need to be watered. And if you don't want to get your finger dirty, you know those little chopsticks that you get from the Chinese restaurants, you can actually use that and stick it into the soil. And the good thing about that is you can wash it, let it dry, and use it again. So those are ways to know that when to water your plant. And every time you do water your plants, write down on your calendar what plant was watered on what day, and that kind of helps you make a schedule. And then you can kind of see, oh, when my plant seems to be needed to be watered more and more and more, I can maybe take it out of the pot, and maybe it's gotten root bound and it doesn't have enough room anymore. So there's a lot of things you can kind of look at and learn just by keeping a watering schedule. Yeah, all plants are different. It depends on the soil you have. So if someone has the same plant as you, don't just kind of be like, oh, they water their plant every 14 days, so I'm going to do the same. It's like, well, you might have a well-draining soil and they might not, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that. All right, the second thing, or maybe the third, fourth, fifth, I've said a lot of tips, but the second overall thing I would say is don't believe everything you see on the gram. When I first started, I would see one person make a video about these are the, or like a little drawing, a post of these are the easiest houseplants to take care of. Then another would be like, oh, these are the hardest. And it's like, well, everything that was on the easiest list for this person is on the hardest list for this person. Or it would say, oh, I water my plant this much. This is how much you need to water this plant. Another post would say, no, you need to water it this much. And it's like, don't go based on what they're doing, because some of these people live in another country. The environment is different. Their house is different. Their room is different. The plant is getting different light. The plant might be next to an air conditioner. Like, things are different. So you can't really get strict by what you see everyone post on the gram. Things are different. Make sure you're going on good garden center websites and you're getting well-informed information. And never be afraid to talk to the people at the garden centers and at the nurseries, because they know the most about plants, and they can be that other person that can work with your space without even going there, without even have been there. What is my English? But you get what I mean. So yeah. And also feel free to take pictures of your space. I take pictures of my plants and I'm like, hey, look, babe, don't know what's going on here, but help me fix it. And they're more than happy to. Well, everyone that I've met is more than happy to. Buy yourself a really good premium indoor potting mix. I will show you the one that I use, that I lugged all the way to my bedroom. This is my favorite one, and I've tried many. This is the Debco Premium Indoor, it's a Debco Indoor Premium Potting Mix, and it's got everything you need. It's got perlite, oh my gosh, it's gonna fall. It's got 6 months of slow release controlled, whatever, fertilizer. It's just got a lot of stuff, and it's really, really, really good. And I have 2 plants in this and they're really happy. Actually, no, how many plants I have this? I changed a couple. Maybe 4 of them are in this and they're really, really happy. So get yourself a nice indoor premium potting mix. Don't get anything else. Don't get the like ones that are good for indoor and outdoor plants, because I made that mistake and I had to like repot all my plants because they have a lot of like natural compostable materials in them, because they're really good for outdoor plants. Number 1, you will know how to spot these because this Debco doesn't stink. Any other premium potting mix don't really stink. I shouldn't really be sniffing it like that. It's not really good for me, but whatever. But those kind of indoor, outdoor, professional potting mixes, they stink really bad. So you'll know that because when you go to near them in the shop, they stink. And also, they bring a lot of pests, especially fungus gnats. And nobody wants fungus gnats in their bedroom, because I suffered with that for a couple of months and it was terrible. So yeah, just get premium indoor potting mix, please. please. Let's talk about watering. I think I've talked a bit about watering. Get yourself a good little watering can. This looks, oh geez. This looks little, but it's 1.8 liters. As you can see, yes, it's 1.8 liters. It is little, but it is mighty. One of this can probably water and a whole peace lily, but I do it twice, you know, just to give it a wash through. When you're watering your plants, look, they say don't use tap water, and I was doing that at the beginning. It was a real big waste of time, filling bottles with water, waiting 2 days. I water them now with like shower water sometimes, and they're really doing really great. So look, I don't know about that. But when you water your plants, you want to make sure that your plants have holes at the bottom of the containers. And I will show you what I mean. In this plant, oh my gosh, don't fall out. This might not have been a good idea. At the bottom, it's got a drainage hole there. So even though it's a store-bought pot and my plant, oh, a rock fell out, sorry. And my plant is actually potted in here. It's not in a plastic pot, it's potted in here. It's got a drainage hole at the bottom. So I water it until water starts coming out and then I stop. But this plant, that pot there doesn't have holes at the bottom. So this plant is in a plastic nursery pot. And as you can see, they have multiple holes all around the plant. Again, I water it until the water comes out and then I stop. And then they can just go back into a decorative pot, like a decorative pot, like so, like that, and you can't tell. So next I'm going to be talking about feeding your plant. So this is what I use. I use the Plant Runner indoor plant food. There we go. Love this thing, and this thing is so easy to use. Sorry, I need to readjust. I'm very uncomfortable. So this is really easy to use. How it works is the pipette, I think these are called a pipette. It's got a measure up to 1 milliliter. And so how it works is every 1 liter needs basically 1 milliliter, which is like 1 pipette of this. So every 1 liter of water you're using needs 1 milliliter of this. How easy. It works basically on all indoor plants, and I love this stuff. It's really good. It's really good. So that's how I feed my plants. So what I do in the winter months, I don't really be fertilizing my plants because they're not really going to grow. They're kind of like just working on their root system, whatever. But in this leading up to spring, and then in the summer months, and spring and summer months, I do fertilize my plants, and that's where I saw a lot of growth. So, why can't I speak? And that's where I saw a lot of growth. If you do want to see that, just go on my Instagram page and go on my plant highlight, skip forward a little bit, and even if you look at the old ones, you'll see the difference of how much growth my plants had. Okay, next I'm going to talk about one of my favorite things, misting. I'm a queen mister. Hello, look at me talking now. I'm a queen mister. I love misting my plants. This is just a spray bottle that I got from Flower Power. Look, it looks a bit weird inside. It's got that white cast because I put rosehip essential oil in my spray bottle because that is a really good, kind of like a natural pesticide. It also makes my leaves look really fresh, and it makes my room smell really nice. It's really, really great and important to mist your plants. I just do it all the time. Misting increases humidity in houseplants. Like I said, if you put a lot of houseplants together, that increases humidity. Or just get yourself a spray bottle and mist. And if you want to be extra like me, I'm not going to go and get it because I've gotten up a lot. I have a humidifier, which I might record later and put a clip of. I have a humidifier, which I just plug in, put near any of my plants and let it do its thing and create humidity in my room. Another way to keep your plants loving the humidity, because a lot of my plants are like tropical or just grew up, or are originally from, I shouldn't say grew up, originally from humid environments. So another thing to do is not have your plant like right underneath an air conditioner. Or I have a plant next to a door, but like the door's not always going, like, you know what I mean? Because that can have like just too much breeze, you know, and too much draft for the plant, and plants don't really like that. They won't be very happy. But keeping a spray bottle, and I spray every other day, honestly. I love doing it. Sometimes the floor gets wet and I don't realize and I almost slip. It's not cute. Next, leaf care. So this ties in with pest, but let's first go with, you're in a house. Houses get dusty. Plants are usually in areas that get a bit dusty, corners, next to walls. It's really important that every other day or weekly, you're wiping the leaves of your plants. This removes all the dust, the top layer of dust from the plants, and it allows the plant to breathe easier, getting more oxygen, and again, working to get a better root system and then flourish and give you new leaves and new foliage. Another thing you can do is, this is some neem oil. I love the Plant Runner. I use the Plant Runner neem oil, but you can buy neem oil from Amazon or any of those nursery stores, but I just like this one. So what you do is I spray it. You can spray it on a microfiber cloth or a paper towel, whichever suits you, whatever floats your boat. And you wipe the upside and the bottom side of the leaves. I usually do this at night time because you don't want to do it when your leaves are going to have exposure to sunlight, because it's not good for them. But what this does is it's a natural pesticide, so it stops any type of and repels any type of pests that want to kind of live on your leaves and create a natural habitat on your leaves. It kind of gets rid of them. And also with the regular wiping of just water or having the rosehip oil in your water will really kind of prevent those types of pests from having a life on your leaves. So this is really good in leaf care. Yeah, so those are kind of my tips and tricks, guys, for taking care of your houseplants. I really hope a lot of you get houseplants. They're just amazing to have. Like, I'm slowly converting people and I love. That's about it. So before I go, if you guys want more videos about houseplants or more specific videos, especially about one about how I got rid of the fungus gnats, because I do know that that can be really, really frustrating, I'm happy to do a video on that. Just put in the description box below if you'd like a more detailed video on any one of my particular plants. I can do that for you. Once again, thank you for watching this video. I hope this video helped you if you're looking to buy a house plant, and I hope this video helps if you already do have a house. I just want to leave you with, once your house plant is in a really good condition with some good bright indirect light or bright light, whatever your house plant needs, when you're watering it according to when you can tell it likes it, looking at the soil, looking at your plant, when you start doing that, your houseplants will flourish. So sometimes it's a slow process. I had my Monstera for so long before I realized what the problem was, and now it's growing new foliage. So it's really important to be really patient with your houseplants, but I would put it to you that they're not that much hard work. It's just because I kind of have a lot. People have way more than I do. They're not that much hard work, and it's really rewarding to see like everything pay off in your plants. So get a houseplant and then put it on your Instagram and then at me so I can see. Have a great week. Stay blessed. Keep being beautiful. Keep being lovely. Keep being the soul and the light. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.